Hello, welcome to the Steam Release Podcast. I'm your host, Duey, and joining me today is, of course, the lovely, the radiant, the vivacious RoadiePie.
Hello, hi.
I've been thinking all week about that word. What's a word for RoadiePie? Vivacious.
Ooh,
boom.
Vivacious, yes. And join us again, Happy Kitty, welcome. Welcome aboard.
Hi.
Welcome aboard the Steamboat. We are onwards to talk about Steam games, but before we do that, I'm just wondering, what's everyone been up to this last week? So, Katie, what games have you been playing this week?
I haven't been playing any games this week. This was my last week of school in my area, so it was the last week for my job. I get 3 months off.
Ooh, nice.
Yes. We just did some more Pathfinder on Thursday. Next week is when I will start picking up a streaming schedule and playing more games.
Nice.
Ooh, what you've got planned?
We're going to continue story time. We're going to try and finish Phoenix Wright. I'm probably going to redo my April event, which is usually portal runs. So I'll be doing Portal 2, Aperture Tag, and I've picked up a couple of other Portal mods as well. Mel's Story.
Yes, that one's so good. You're gonna like that.
I'm looking forward to playing that one.
Play it after you play Portal 2, though.
Oh yeah. No, it always goes Portal 2, and then the mods.
Cool.
I'm going to try and speed run Portal. My fastest time is sub 120. I want to get close to sub an hour.
Wow. Under an hour. It took me forever. It's that level where you're over this toxic pit and you have to, this huge toxic pit. It took me hours to figure that puzzle out. Hours, I say.
No, the one I have issues with is the first stage of the one where you have to use momentum to get over the glass fence. And then you have to try to get to the electric orb to bounce like 3 times to get it into that gate. Oh my god, I hate that level. That's the level I have the most issue with. All the other levels I'm good. That one's a time killer.
The momentum puzzles were super quick for me to figure out, but that energy ball one, I hate things that involve timing.
Now my issue is portal placement.
Yeah.
That's what I've got on the schedule, so.
Oh, that sounds so fun.
Nice. It's like, yeah, it's a good mix of like puzzle games and, you know, some really like heavy narrative games as well. It's fantastic.
And that's just a start. I get 3 months of this, at least.
Yeah, nice.
So definitely tune into Happy Kitty if is something piqued your interest.
Absolutely. RoadiePie, what have you been up to this week?
So I was thinking, oh my god, I haven't been playing much of any different games. So there was a heavy sale on for Staxel that was on my wish list. So I picked that up and booted it up. And this is a farming sim, but it's in the style of that kind of Minecraft sort of visuals. It's how is it? Yeah, Staxel. Staxel. It's I am only on the 3rd day, but the starting off is just frustrating.
Oh no.
I would so that there are with these farming sims, because there are a couple of really good indie titles like Stardew Valley and what's that My Time at Portia. It's people are going to be comparing them, so if there is something that doesn't quite work properly, it's no. So for example, you get given 2 tools at the beginning. One is a shovel, one is a plow. After you've done like spoken to somebody, and then they say, oh, and here's some seeds as well, and so you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll do that. But then you get the watering can as well, but then it's like, okay, my house looks like crap. It's just like there's cobwebs everywhere. There's this, and it's just like, how do I do that? How do I get rid of that? Because it's like you try to interact with it. It says, oh no, you'll need like a duster to get rid of this, and it's like, and you go around to the shops and everything. There's a general store, there's a marketplace, and also it's weird how you sell things. There's a box to sell things. You put the item on top of the box, and then you have to interact with the box. It's like, why don't I just like sell it? Like, you know, it's just really weird. Also, I needed some extra cash because I blew all my money on seeds like on the first day at the general store. So on the second day I was like, oh, I need money. I've got like 50 gold or whatever. So I found the beach and like started picking up things along the beach. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be so rich. Oh, picking up things on the beach. And then the next day I went to do the same thing, but I had like a load of other crap in my bag and I wasn't picking up anything, even though the things were disappearing as I thought I was picking them up. So it was just like, why didn't you just give me a message saying, you can't put this in your bag is full, the inventory's full? It didn't do that. And also, when you place things down, you have to do something to rotate them first to the way that you want them. It's not like you're just facing one way and then it's facing towards you or something, which would make sense to me. Because I had this bookcase that gives you the guides and everything, and I was facing the wall and I put the bookcase there and it faced the other way. And I was like, okay, how do I turn this? But the only instructions that I could find is like, oh, you have to turn it before you put it down. And it's like, well, I don't have any notice to pick it up again. So it's stuck one way until I can find a way to turn it around, which is not intuitive. I've tried loads of things.
Oh.
So yeah, that's my experience. Anyway, it's not the full experience, but it's 3 days of not a great game in my current opinion. Mm-hmm. Anyway, Kitty, what have you been doing?
This was on Kickstarter, if I remember correctly. This is a Kickstarter game, and it's been in process a lot. The main reason I've held off is, one, it's not a genre I get into very easily, but two is that I have seen a long history of it being plagued with a variety of bugs, or like weird design, and it seems that that's still an issue. To the developer's credit, of course, it is constantly getting updates. So, but
the thing is, I have put off playing it buying it for a while, and this release date was in 2019. Yeah. So it's been out for a long time.
And there's still like basic user intuition stuff that's not done.
Yeah, and it's just like, seriously, this is how it's going?
Wow.
This is not good.
That can happen when a large portion of your player base is playing like early access or like very early builds, like through Kickstarter and such. And to them, like, they've learned all the systems because they're talking to the devs all the time. And so like, what? It's intuitive. I don't get what you're missing. And it's just like, as someone who's uninitiated into the whatever this like cult is, you're just like, what? How? Wait, I'm supposed to do what? I'm supposed to put what where? What are you talking about?
Oh my god. The last update was in October last year, October 20th.
And so they're due for another one.
Yeah, definitely. But on October the 2nd, they did do like a tutorial revamp. Wow. So
just think how confusing it would have been before the tutorial.
Yeah.
Oh my word.
And oh my god. And the tutorial that I got on how to plant things and everything, that was apparently that was missing before. So wow, this was in an even worse state than before I played it right now. That's incredible. That's you need to get that down as one of the first things. That's what brings people into the game. And it's just no, this is like rough. This is really rough.
Wow.
But yeah, that's what I've been playing, and of course Heartbeat. I'm still getting those last few bosses and, you know, those last few achievements, and I opened up a whole new area on a spaceship. It was awesome.
Well, as for me, I've been playing Vikings, Wolves of Midgard. I've been actually playing this on Steam, so help me, you load. But I've been playing this on, there we go. Now it decides to load. I've been playing Vikings, Wolves of Midgard on the Xbox. I also own it on PC, but I owned it on PC after I owned it on Xbox. And I'm playing on controller anyway, so whatever. I'll continue to play it on Xbox. So far, hasn't changed too much. The story is at least interesting, and the world has this kind of, they're starting to introduce like Roman elements to it. So that's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, Vikings were around during the Roman age, kind of, but how interesting. So it's introducing some new elements. I will say, as an ARPG, it is very middle of the pack. I wouldn't call it a great ARPG. I wouldn't call it really a bad ARPG. I think its current like mixed, like 58% mixed, is a little bit harsh. It's not that bad. Like it's, I would probably say that this should probably be in kind of the 70% score area. But yeah, it's fine. It's just kind of, it's what I play when I'm trying to go to sleep. but it's at least enjoyable in that way. I keep coming back to it. I also played a wee bit of Armello. For anyone who doesn't know about Armello, the Radio Tom introduced me to this game. It is basically a board game where you are trying to resolve the issue with the corrupted king, either by killing the king, curing the king, replacing the king, or there was one over, or out corrupting, being more corrupted than the king. So like there's four different ways that you can do this. And so there's 4 different win conditions, and so all the different players, it's up to 4 players competitively, are trying to hit these win conditions, and it's all about you trying to get ahead while at the same time messing with everyone else. It's quite fun. I do quite enjoy it, and I've just been trying to get some more achievements in it.
Nice.
Besides that, I have been going through the emotional roller coaster of the Shadowbringers post-patch storylines, which I thought like Shadowbringers would be emotional, and then the post-patch storylines, like patch 4 or something, just like destroyed me for like a few days. Just emotionally destroyed me. So I was just like, why is the writing so good? Oh my gosh, why am I crying? Why am I crying while I'm in the middle of a raid? What's going on? Like,
So I guess I should mention that a couple of friends have also conned me into starting that as well.
Oh,
I probably
nice.
won't be doing that on stream, but if you're looking for another player to hang out with, or if we're on the same server, I'm on Adamantoise, so.
Yeah, I'm on the Crystal database. I think I probably have alts on other databases though, so I'm always down to help lower level players doing like instances and stuff. That's always fun for me. So
2 days, and I'm already 18.
Ooh, nice. Yeah. The progress is gonna slow soon, but it still keeps a pretty good it keeps a pretty good pace. Just keep doing the story, and you'll keep up.
I need to do the post main storyline. I need to do the patch notes. The rest of the storyline. You know, I got to get ready for the expansion. I got to get ready for the expansion. So good.
Well, just to make sure you have some tissues.
Oh yeah,
You're gonna need them.
I will definitely expect it.
I can barely see while I'm trying to avoid AoEs during a raid. This is so sad. No other MMO has ever done that for me, because it's not something MMOs usually do.
I find that they're just not very good at that, because a lot of the content is sort of like gated off unless you have certain gear that might be difficult to get for certain players. You know, if you're not that dedicated, you know, if you're maybe more of a casual player, but I find like Final Fantasy 14 is like, it's really great. You can just dip into it and just like dip out of it kind of thing, and you can still get the gear and, you know, see all the content. Really, it's really good. I find it very accessible, because I'm not someone that likes raiding. I'm not someone who likes doing dungeons, so I'm super excited for the expansion pack when they're doing this like they're doing kind of a Stardew Valley thing, and I'm so there for it.
Yes, the Stardew, like the aisle the personal aisle, and also it's going to help for people who really want housing. Yes, this is instant, so you're just kind of in a house by yourself, but you have a whole island and a garden you get to do. So they finally going to let the majority of the player base interact with the whole gardening mechanics, and probably going to flesh out those gardening mechanics. So that's cool.
Yeah,
so cool. So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully I'll still have time to play other games. But yeah, it's Final Fantasy 14, especially as something, I guess, with the combat as well. As a younger guy, I wouldn't have been into the combat. I was more into Guild Wars 2, Black Desert, Terra kind of combat. But I've discovered, being only 30, that your reaction times slow down, and so does like your sort of, and so does my like stamina for being able to do like action combat for like in a raid or whatever. It's like half an hour. It's just like, okay, I'm tired of this. Can I just go craft or something? And the nice thing about Final Fantasy 14 is it has that fully fleshed out world with a lot of crafting, but also the combat. It's exciting, but it's also not super fast. Like, you can think about what your next move is. So, yeah, it's so good. Anyhow, enough jibber jabber. On to our release. Oh, really? Interesting. Oh, that's right. Yeah, Black Desert, they are deleting accounts because they're no longer going to be published by a publisher. They're now going to be self-published. So you got to make sure to update that. Yep. Indeed. So, thank you, Godless Weep, for that public service announcement. Next up, we are not going to have catch-up this week, so instead, we're just going to do our releases. Yeah, our hidden gems of the week. So this week I dug through the release list. Well, we dug through the release list and found some hidden gems to show you, and we are excited to present that to you, starting with CosmoDrive Infinity.
Dynamic runner, embark on a breakneck journey across the universe, discover new ships and planets.
Yeah, so this was like kind of on the edge for me when it came to like deciding to whether to have it on the list, because like I was looking at the assets and was like, I don't know, are these like really handcrafted assets? But looking at the gameplay and the design, I was like, okay, there's a decent amount of creativity here going on. So and it actually was like, you know what, I kind of want to try this. So yep, CosmoDrive Infinity.
It's got a banging soundtrack as far as I'm concerned. Definitely not a game I would enjoy playing, but I could sit down and watch somebody play this.
Yeah, definitely.
Have it on in the background while I'm doing something else and just listen to the soundtrack.
Yeah. And I like how... Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I can see what you mean by, like, you weren't sure about the assets and everything, but it looks polished enough where it's like, yeah, this could be, like, fun one to play.
Yeah. I'm pretty certain most of these assets were purchased, but the developer was really creative in arranging them, and he has different levels. Diamond Cat Studio, the developer, has these different levels with just different layouts. It's just really creatively done so that even though the reason I notice that the assets are probably purchased is because I see so many indie games, but and that's kind of particular to me. But if I kind of block that out, it's like, okay, this does actually look like a lot of creativity. I like how some levels are high poly and then other levels are low poly, like cubes, like a Minecraft. Like it's just very creative. So I thought that was kind of neat. But yeah, CosmoDrive Infinity by Diamond Cat Studios. They also developed CosmoDrive Zero and Glitch Puzzle. So they have a few games.
This game is only £2.89. So yeah, it's quite a good price.
Yep. And yeah, not well priced, and there are no reviews right now, so please do. Oh no, wait. If you scroll down, there are 3 positive reviews, all of them in Russian or Ukrainian. So, so I can't read them. But all right. Next up, Raving Quick High. Monday, April 17th. Our next title is SNKRX. I have no idea how this is supposed to be pronounced. So,
SNKRX is an arcade shooter rogue-lite where you control a snake of heroes that automatically attack nearby enemies. Find different heroes to unlock class bonuses and create new unique builds and steer your unstoppable party as they ravage through endless waves of enemies.
So this is kind of one of those really cool minimalist designs.
Oh, I know. It's bullet hell.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a neat bullet hell for sure. And the fact that you can have multiple different party members in this bullet hell at the same time as your snake is an interesting concept. But ultimately, it's bullet hell.
Yeah.
It reminds me of it looks like something that Sock Pop would do, because it's got that kind of design, like that 3DS kind of design. It looks a bit like that.
Yep. There are 40 heroes, each with unique attacks and passives, 12 classes, each giving stat boosts and modifiers to your snake, 40 passive items, each giving strong global effects to your snake, 25 levels of increasing difficulty as the run progresses, and 15 plus Steam achievements. And the soundtrack is by Kubi.
Nice. It's price, it's 15% off right now at £1.77, and it's standing at 98% positive with 53 user reviews.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. It is developed by A327EX.
Letters and numbers.
Who also developed by Bite Path. Okay, the game Bite Path, which also seems to be kind of a bullet hell / like asteroids type game.
And don't get me wrong, bullet hells are nice if you're into that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And this is definitely a different type of bullet hell. But it's a bullet hell.
Yeah. It's quite charming. I like games that sort of explore this sort of minimalist design while still looking good. Because some you can really tell when a minimalist design is because you don't want to put in the effort or you don't have the money. Where in this case, it's like he probably doesn't have the money, but really did put in the effort to make a really interesting looking game. Let me see about. Yeah, I've got no about information about A327X. So. Next up is SnowRunner.
Get ready for the next generation off-road experience. Drive powerful vehicles and overcome extreme open environments to complete dozens of challenging missions solo or with up to 3 friends. Nice.
This one's not particularly an indie game. It is published by Focus Home Interactive, but I consider Focus Home Interactive kind of an indie publisher just because the types, there's not really a type of games that Focus Home Interactive publishes. They're just just scattershot like any type of game, especially game types that are typically indie.
They range with their kind of games. It's like sometimes AA, and then sometimes like very, very sort of like indie kind of games. It's like I kind of like love the variety of games they publish.
I have a little bit of story time. The predecessor of this game is called MudRunner, which I guess is the more warmer weather version of this game. Oh no! I haven't had the scene on. Wow, look at that. Thank you, Godless Wave. Yeah. So yeah, here's SnowRunner. But yeah, it is. I've played the MudRunner game. Actually, that was part of my job, so I was working on the MudRunner game, and through a sense of like Stockholm syndrome, I guess, I kind of grew to like it. Because this is a game where it's very slow. If you make a mistake, it can be catastrophic, and you just have to reload. And I ended up actually liking this, of course under duress. So I do kind of want to check out SnowRunner, and just because I'm wondering if, like, not under duress and because I'm not being paid, whether I would still enjoy it.
So, if I know a couple of truckers, and if this is anything like they tell me, like you said, yes, small mistakes, catastrophic. To me, it seems kind of like a first-person generic driving sim, which seems really boring to me. You know, I mean, third person gets an interesting, or have I got that backwards? First person. Yeah, third person. So this is third person, right? I always get them confused.
Yeah.
So, first person's got an interesting perspective. You're behind the wheel. You actually have to make those split decisions. You don't know what's around you. Third person, you can see the environment around you. You can kind of plot your course and stuff. But it's a driving sim. Mm-hmm. I mean, people like driving sims. Don't get me wrong. But it's kind of boring.
Yeah. The thing with this one is that a lot of it is about traveling through deep water or mud, and as you move that mud, you can make a mud trap where you're basically stuck in. And again, this is a really niche game. If you look on Twitch, these games are exceedingly popular among Russians.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, among particularly middle-aged male Russians. It's very like particular like fan base. And then if you're like talking to folks in the chat, it's just like, oh, you are all old enough to be my dad. So wow. It's a very interesting kind of like niche of the fan base. That I just find quite fascinating. But
if you know your target market and you give them what you want, you're going to do well.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is standing very positive with 81%, and there's 540 user reviews. It's $25.99.
Yes.
There's no discount.
$29.99 USD. And I doubt it will go on discount very often because these games do sell like hotcakes. But it's by Saber Interactive, who also did MudRunner. I don't know what else they did because on Steam it just takes you to Focus Home Interactive. But they also, and other things I have to say, the audio, like the sounds of rain or snow or like birds, nature sounds, really well done, as well as just the environments are particularly pretty at points. But yeah, so there were reasons I enjoyed this. It could all just be Stockholm Syndrome, so if you're not into this, if you don't think you're into this genre, you definitely won't be so into this game. Yep. Alrighty, next up is Knighted.
Knighted is a chess-like strategy game. Outwit multiplayer opponents, train against the computer in skirmishes or in the story-driven campaign, play against friends in custom lobbies, dare to enter the online tournaments and face off against grandmasters.
Oh,
it's interesting.
Cute. Yeah. And I'm wondering, because there's been like a large like surge in people interested in chess since that TV series. The Queen's Gambit came out. I wonder if this could spark some interest.
Now, when they say chess-like, it makes me wonder if some of the characters can only move certain ways. It's a little hard to tell from the play that they have for their commercial.
Oh yeah, the knights do move like knights in chess. So
Okay.
I bet each of the characters do have particular, like the when they hover over the archers, you can move diagonally, kind of thing. Interesting.
And it looks like it does have a pretty interesting solo campaign, so you can get your bearings down before you challenge friends or go into tournaments and stuff like that, which is really good. You know, nobody wants to just throw themselves into a tournament not knowing what they're doing. It kind of makes me wonder what kind of tournaments they have for this game, considering it, or are going to have for this game, and what kind of reception it's going to have, because it seems like a really cool concept. And if we can get more people into the whole strategy mind-based, think outside the box type deal, the happier our society should be.
Absolutely. It's great because also with this, it's got a map editor, so that's, you know, there's the possibilities. Would be fantastic. There's chaos maps and modes as well. So
and the aesthetic reminds me of Wargroove, while at the same time not being quite as pretty as Wargroove. But it definitely seems to have that hints towards Wargroove. But it clearly is a very different game. Yep.
Yeah.
So
it's got a lot of potential.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
That is Knighted.
Yes, it's 15% off right now at £9.68. Currently, there's only 4 user reviews, and those are all positive. There's 7 so far, and all of those are positive.
Yep. It's developed by Steelpick Games that previously made B67 back in August 31st, 2020. Which was a top-down roguelike shooter. So they're showing their development flexibility. All right. Next up is Flight of the Amazon Queen, which, interesting thing that I learned, search on Steam is broken, but if you simply don't use any spaces, you can find what you're looking for. So
the year is 1949, and you assume the role of Joe King, a pilot for hire who will embark on a quest to rescue a kidnapped princess, and in the process encounter a dangerous temple, fearsome Amazonian warriors, and a powerful mad scientist intent on taking over the world.
Joe King makes a bunch of like one-liners, doesn't he?
Yes. This was originally a LucasArts original, so it's got a huge nostalgia kick. I didn't get to play this, but I did watch people play this. I didn't get a computer or get into computer games until my high school years, unfortunately. My parents weren't big on the technology, but I had to have a computer to do research in high school, so they had to get one. So I missed out on all of this personally, but yeah, no, it's a great nostalgia kick. It's beautifully redone. The colors are vibrant. The art style is wonderful, and this is kind of a riff on Indiana Jones. So if you're into that story time, you know, it's a point and click adventure. If you're down that road, I know a couple of people who are down that road who might appreciate this remake. It's a really fun story, and Joe King is one of a kind.
This is definitely going on my wish list. This is one that I missed out on, and I played a lot of LucasArts games back in the day, but yeah, it's like it's only £1.43, and it's 15% off. So it's this is almost an instant buy, I think, for me because it's so cheap. I do wonder how long it is. Says explore over 100 exotic locations and interact with over 40 wildly different individual characters, including but not limited to a tribe of Amazon women and a 6-foot tall pygmies.
It's a good maybe 2 to 3 play sessions, 4 depending on how short your playtime is, but a good at least 2 solid if you're doing anywhere from like 3 to 4 hours of playtime. And it also depends on if you're going to explore every aspect of your environment, because LucasArts, Sierra, a lot of the times they had hidden stuff, Easter eggs and stuff like that. The biggest thing that I think is absolutely wonderful is the content for the game, the Legacy Editions. It comes in, it looks like 7 different languages, and all of that is free. You get some extras, some soundtracks, everything is free, and for a $2 price tag, I would be charging.
Yeah. Fantastic.
But it's a really, like I said, it's a really great nostalgia kick. It's a beautiful, wonderfully written game. It's funny. So this is definitely one of my recommends.
Yep. And it is $1.69 USD.
It is on sale, yes.
And currently there's only 5 user reviews. One of them is a negative one. It just says it's not that good of a port, unfortunately. But
well, all right. Our final game from Monday is Lost in Blindness, which I need to remove the spaces to find it. There we go.
Have you ever wondered if you could play a video game without even looking at the screen? What if you played this unique sound-based adventure game without even seeing anything?
These people ought to watch GDQ. Okay, great. There are quite a few runners that do speedruns blindfolded. But going back on track, this is a really insightful and interesting concept. Because it looks like a lot of the environment you do see is all mind-based from the sounds around you. Which is really, really interesting. Fortunately, I don't know any blind people, so I don't know how that whole interaction and inner mind sight would work. But it's a great concept, and it might pull more people into the thought process of what somebody with disabilities might go through. And the fact that it's a whole murder or kidnap mystery type thing just intrigues you even.
I love it when developers do something interesting like this. So it's when I played Unheard, and you're just listening to it's very minimal, like the graphics and everything, and you're really like listening in on people's conversations and working out things from just that. So I love stuff like this, and I'm really, really curious.
Yeah, I'm curious if it because I was looking down the description. It says it's like a streamer mode where people are able to see what's going on, and there seems to be some visible aspects to it. I'm just curious. So, provided that it delivers, where in that you can play the game without seeing the screen, that is very interesting to me, because like Unheard, the game you played, you definitely would say that you could play that game without having a visible interface.
No, cause you do have to like see where people were to like run up to them, but because it was so minimal, it's like if you had someone running up, doing the motions for you and running up to the different like dots on the screen, or like the different people on the screen, and like the person, say another person was blind, and they could say, oh well, maybe I need to speak to this, no, maybe I need to be in the vicinity of this person, or I need to keep track of this person. I think, yeah.
So it was still a game that could easily have been played by someone who was blind because it was so audio based.
I possibly think so, with assistance. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. That's really cool. There was that other audio based game where it did have visual aspects as well, but it was where you're basically commander, the radio commander. So basically you're getting reports in from the field, and you have a little map where you have to like mark out where stuff is happening, and you're just basing it on what you're being told from reports, and then you have to like tell them back like, okay, I need you to do this, and just like trying to make sure that you're getting the correct information and keeping track of that. Like, okay, last I knew these guys were over here. Where are they now? Kind of thing. Those heavily audio-based games. It's just a really cool idea.
We also did one recently where it was a getaway car.
Oh yeah, you're driving blind, yeah, and you're trying to get away, yeah. Yep. That was a much shorter game, but still also a cool idea. Basically, you get in a car, you're trying to get away from people who are trying to kill you or something, and all you can do is hear. So you hear like cars coming, it's like, okay, I need to be in this lane. It's like, oh, I hear, oh no, I'm clearly now on gravel, so I'm not on the highway anymore. Where am I? Kind of thing. It's really interesting. You die over and over and over in that game as you kind of gradually figure out what's the safe route. Anyhow.
This is 10% off right now at $17.54. So I am a bit wary with like how much this is. This is quite steep.
Yeah, $22.49 USD.
It does come with a demo though, so you can always try the game, probably do a few levels, and then figure out whether or not you want to spend the money on the price tag. So depending on how well they did with the demo could depend on whether or not it's actually worth that steep price.
Yep.
I would still wait for like a massive sale.
Yeah.
I feel because it's like, from what I'm looking at, I've seen like one review, and it's like just under 7 hours. Mm-hmm. So it's like I'm not comfortable paying.
Yeah,
that's mad.
And the reviews in French all the reviews are positive, but the reviews in French, but except one, all seem to be averaging around the 3 hour point. Yeah. But yes, there is full audio in French as well. So if you're interested. Okay. So, but that is Lost in Blindness by Unseen Interactive, which quite a cool name for your studio. I wonder if that means that their future games are going to kind of follow a theme. Next up, Tuesday, April 18th, is Siege Survival Gloria Victis.
Medieval city under siege, and a handful of civilians are all that keep the walls from falling. Camp supplies and scavenge the occupied city to supply the last troops holding back the invaders.
Ooh, I think my internet hicked up a little bit. I was like, oh no, everyone's frozen. I'm all alone. Okay, cool, awesome. But yeah, Gloria Victis. So for those who don't know, Gloria Victis is also like a medieval RPG, hardcore RPG game that is not normally like isometric. It is normally like the sort of first person or third person view in a full 3D environment. This is, from what I understand, set in the same world, but instead of being like a night adventuring and such, or an adventure, just adventuring or whatever, this one you're specifically like managing a bunch of civilians in a city that is under siege, and you're trying to figure out what you have to sacrifice in order to keep the city. So it's just like, we only have this much food. How many people do we need to send out to fight the armies and die so we have enough food for everyone? Like, there's all these like interesting decisions that had to be made back when you were a city under siege. And it's just like, do we surrender? And of course, in this game, if you surrender, you lose. So of course, you're not going to surrender. It's all about like there's all these sort of calculations you have to make. I think I've seen games like this before, but they're very uncommon. So it's a very rare genre. Really cool.
I think it's really cool. It's the civilians that are taking up arms, because usually it's like, you know, you've got trained soldiers and everything. So it's very interesting take on this.
There's a handful of soldiers, but for the most part, it is a civilian. So it's just like shoring up defenses and like just figuring out what you're supposed to do. It's like, oh no, how do we get around this, and you know, divide up the town as the invaders get further and further in. Yep, very interesting.
There's another one with a free demo as well. So
yeah. Yeah, and it's good that it has a free demo because it is $19.99 USD with 20% off.
Yeah, 20% off at £16.79. Though it's standing at 83% positive with 311 user reviews. So
yeah.
Is this a kind of genre that you have dipped into, Hello Kitty? Is it?
No, I am not very big on the survival resource management.
Yeah.
I fell far short in these games. However, this might be something that my husband might.
I like to watch people try and fail at survival games. Myself am not
fun to watch them rage.
Because the thing is, if you're really successful in a survival game, it gets very boring very fast, in my opinion. Because like you got everything, okay, if everything's set up, everything's running just fine. I've got my house, I've got everything, and now it's just like, well, I guess I'll just make and then it becomes Minecraft. It's like, well, I guess I'll just make my house very pretty, and just like, okay, so what do we do? What do we do now? So, personally, yeah, I'm not into survival, but I am curious seeing how like people would do this. So, but yeah. Next up is Essays on Empathy by Deconstructeam.
A curated compilation of Deconstructeam's best efforts in seeking new narrative experiences in games. Explore 10 unique, offbeat tales, including De Tres al Curato, a brand new short experience exclusive to the compilation about a couple of 2-bit comedians trying to make it big. I probably absolutely murdered that.
Yeah. De Tres al Cuarto. It's from 3 to 4.
Ah, okay.
Yep. But yeah, it looks like some. So I do like that they mostly seem to be pixel art. It looks like one or two of them isn't, but I like the pixel art theme, and it is published by Devolver Digital, so that always gives me a like,
I did happen to notice through this. I just noticed it, but there might be some NSFW.
Really?
Yeah,
just a little bit. I think
just a tiny bit. I just noticed it, and it was like less than 2 seconds long, but I caught it, and it's like, oh.
Okay, yeah. So the game may contain content not appropriate for all ages. This may not be appropriate for viewing at work, nudity, or sexual content, general mature content. Well, that's nice to know. That is nice to know. Okay.
But other than that, it seems like a really fun.
Please be kind to us, Twitch.
A really fun game. Where I'm big on empathy. I'm an empath myself, so this could be a game that I could see myself playing and really getting into, depending on the content and the stories.
And this is the team that did the Red Strings Club and Gods Will Be Watching. So this is like from a studio that like really knows how to do those narrative stories, and I'm really glad that they've done like 10.
You know what? It looks like the Red Strings Club is actually included in this game.
Oh,
I think if you get the bundle, you can, but you can also buy
Oh, okay.
empathy on it by itself. But yeah, the bundle is like totally worth the price because it includes both their games. But yeah, I'm super interested. I'm super interested in this because yeah, I love these narrative stories, and the dev team they brings fantastic stories, definitely. It is at $10.99 currently, but if you get the bundle, which is 10% off, and I've already got the other two games, so it's £9.89 for just that one game. So yeah, I best going for the bundle, really.
Yep. And without the discount, it is $12.99 USD. And there's 20 Steam achievements, and one of the achievements just straight up has a picture of one of the developers. So I think that's kind of funny. All right.
Nice. So, it is at 93% positive with 15 user reviews.
Next up is Dinner with an Owl.
Load. Sorry. There we go. Break the puzzling spell of your eccentric host. Dinner with an Owl, a short, surreal point-and-click adventure.
This is developed by BoringSuburbanDad. I just like that developer name.
I like the fact that the owl is singing. The owl is just weirdly singing. So, one of the games I've played, point-and-click games that I've played, it was Dominique Pamplemousse, and it was all singing. It was an opera. It was fantastic. I highly recommend it. So anything that's where the characters are just like singing, that has a little tick box for me.
My biggest question is, why is he an owl?
I mean that is one of the questions that the guest has put towards him. So why are you an owl? Why?
But it seems
you can't just ask someone why they're an owl.
Yeah, don't be at dinner. Come on.
So it seems like a really charming game. The art is beautifully done. I appreciate the style that they've gone for. And if the narrative is as interesting as the art style, I think it's going to be a really good game. It seems to be on the short side, which, could be okay. But again, it's a free game, too.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's a short game, it's free, it makes me wonder if they're getting ready for something else, maybe in the same mindset, whether it be art style or narrative, or maybe even a sequel that they're going to throw up for a couple of bucks.
I would hope so.
But yeah, no, this seems like a really, really cool game. It's going on my wish list. This will, when I play this, it'll probably be in conjunction with maybe another game, or maybe between games.
Yep.
Yeah. It's at 98% positive with 50 user reviews. So
and
as I said, it's short. So I think it's well under an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And if you really like it and you want to abdicate your guilt, they are selling the soundtrack. So
yeah. That may be how they decide to make their money too.
It may be.
Yeah. The soundtrack is £3.19.
$3.99 USD. And with that's the end of Tuesday. On to Wednesday, to a game that I've been really looking forward to, Rising Hell.
Rising Hell is a vertical platformer rogue-lite filled with adrenaline-pumping action and tons of heavy gothic metal shreds. Climb out of the ever-changing hell while you fight hordes of bloodlusting demons.
Yeah, so this has been in early access for quite a long time, but I have been watching people play this, and it looks so fun.
There is a free demo, so you can try it out before you buy it. It seems to be at a pretty good price. Otherwise, it is on sale as well. This reminded me a lot of Dead Cells with the art style and the playthrough style, with a really awesome soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't played Dead Cells yet, but I know a few people who have, and I think they would really enjoy this game, considering how much they have enjoyed Dead Cells themselves.
Yeah. That said, this is a much more narrowly defined game, because it is. So it's a roguelike, so you gain powers as you climb, but it is just it's a straight climb. So the whole pillar that you're going up to get out of hell, you're climbing a tower until you get up to the world of the living, and yeah, it just goes straight up. There's no like side paths or anything, from what I understand. It's just very much straight up. So it's a much more smaller scope game, but of course
you do get other characters to play as well.
Yes, you get to evolve. There's a lot of progression systems, as a good roguelike has. So it's it looks really fun. It was on my wish list as soon as I saw it announced, and now that it's fully out, I may end up picking it up not too quickly. I mean, not too. What am I trying to say? Not too far from now. Not too far in the future.
There's also, as well as a free demo, there's also a prologue as well. So yes. Nice, free prologue chapter. You scroll down, so which is completely free. So yeah,
I'll have to check that out.
But it's 10% off right now at £6.47, and it's currently standing at 94% positive with 93 user reviews. The recent reviews are at 89% with 19 user reviews.
Yeah. And of course, they are selling their digital artwork and soundtrack as well. And is developed by Tahoe Games, which is published by Toge. Okie doke. Next up is Aerial Knights Never Yield.
Survive a futuristic Tokyo-style Detroit in this 3D runner that tells the story of Wally, who has uncovered the evidence that can change his city forever. Explore a game world with a dope-tastic soundtrack featuring the authentic sounds of Detroit artists. Dope-tastic. It's dope-tastic. Sorry.
Yeah. And I'm gonna keep the music very quiet because I don't want to get the stream muted.
Yeah. What I miss?
Yep. But yeah, so it is an endless runner. I'm not typically into these, but some of them have been made very well. Like, what was that Swedish developer did one? Wild Hearts?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one's an endless. That one's an endless runner. Annapurna. Yes, they developed that. Wild Hearts. What's the first word in that? Now I'm gonna have to look it up.
I mean, this game looks fantastic. It looks very polished, and again, I'm not someone who does like endless runners, but it looks very interesting.
It was Sayonara. That's what it was. Sayonara Wild Hearts. Okay, yeah. But yeah, Aerial Knights Never Yield. I like the style. It's kind of neon soaked, but it doesn't annoy me too much. And I like the sort of Tokyo style Detroit. So it's like Neo Tokyo, but it's Detroit. That's kind of cool. That's a cool mix.
This is another game that I think's got a really good soundtrack to it. And the fact that they use Detroit artists for a game set in Detroit, really a nice touch to it.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, like, from the dev, this project began as just a passion project I started on my own to create something familiar but new for this generation of gamers, while highlighting aspects of a culture that is often overlooked. I really hope you enjoy the game once it's released and follow my journey to create new and interesting games. Oh, nice.
The soundtrack is only $5 and contains 15 tracks. So if you end up playing the game and really like the music, well, it's basically an interactive album. So if you want to skip the gameplay part and just listen to the music, you can also buy the album for $5.
I've seen a lot of people with under 2 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is only about 2 hours long.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's 10% off right now at $8.99, and it's at 85% positive with 20 user reviews.
Yep, $10.79 USD. Let me see. And yeah, it is Aerial Knight's first game, I believe. Yep. And it looks great. So, next up, Bit Orchard.
Let's see, sorry. Pull weeds, plant seeds, and chase the crows away from your apples. Earn money to upgrade your house and expand your land in this charming pixel art farming game.
It's cute. 2 colors. Kind of reminds me of the old Nintendo handheld, with the aspect that you might expect from Stardew Valley or My Time at Portia, stuff like that. You got your crops, you expand your land, you build your house. It's cute. It seems to be very inviting. Not much to say other than that.
Yeah.
At least for me, anyway.
I think it's cute. I'm liking the music in it a bit. Although, I don't know, with like those farming sims, I want something like really beautiful to look at.
Yeah, lots of color.
Yeah, because it's that's all you're doing, right? You're in the farming game, and it's like I don't just this monochrome just doesn't do it for me really at all. It might be fun, but I need something that's going to look beautiful, because as things grow, I want to see the landscape change. I want to see the different seasons, and want to see all the different colors. But sorry, very negative.
No, it's fine, and it's close to the point that I was going to make. And another thing to point out is you only get 1 crop. You get apple trees. That's it.
Yeah.
And it's a game. It's there.
Yep.
Oh, it's true. It says pull weeds, plant seeds. Mm-hmm. It didn't say plant apples, but it does say keep crows away from apples. So yeah. Yeah.
Yep. It's you can plant trees, and reading the one review, which unfortunately is negative, but it was just like, you know, it wasn't that the game was bad, it's just that they didn't particularly enjoy it very much. But they did say the music and they like the art. The thing I have with the art is there's certain arts styles that are very much like, for people who didn't grow up in this era, I think the vast majority of them wouldn't really appreciate it as much. Because especially when pixel art is forever. I'll say that till the day I die. Pixel art is forever. It's not going away. But there's a great deal of difference between the pixel art of Stardew Valley and, you know, the pixel art of like the really old original Game Boy kind of look. There's a huge difference there. And one, I think, is objectively better, albeit if you want the nostalgia effect, I can see why you'd go for the older one. It's just, things are better with color usually, unless there's particularly a game that really benefits from being black and white or just two-toned. So, yeah.
Cream and green.
Yeah, just cream and green. Yeah. But yeah, that is Bit Orchard by Two Boon Games, and it's their first game on Steam. So
it's $3.99. So
yep, $4.99 USD. So really not expensive either. Next up, The Wild at Heart.
A mysterious hidden realm, 2 precious kids fleeing hardship, magical creatures, and an oddball order of guardians who have lost their way. I'm sorry, I can't read that.
A Stygian.
Stygian evil imprisoned. Welcome to the deep woods.
Yep.
Is it Stygian or Stygian? I've always heard it as Stygian.
Yeah, I think it'd be Stygian. Some people say Stygian, but I think it is more officially Stygian. But yeah, that's a reference. It's a reference to the Greek underworld. So, you know, they have an underworld evil. So this reminds me, there's like a whole slew of games. This reminds me of like the Neko Night Market.
Yeah.
I'm reminded of Little Misfortune.
Little Misfortune's another one. There was that Stardew Valley-esque game that has a similar art style to this that recently came up. What was that called? Yeah, but you know, there's this particular art style that's lately been popular. I feel like people are going to be able to like, oh, I know what that is. Yep. But yeah,
it looks great, and I'm loving the like different maps and everything, and although I'm also I'm curious about the gameplay. I'm very curious about the gameplay, but I think I would enjoy watching someone play it a bit first, so before I would commit to something like this, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, shame there isn't a demo.
Yeah, I think a demo would do nice with this one, especially with the price tag that it's got on it.
It looks like you play it almost like Pikmin. You gather up these little guys and they'll help you, and you throw them at your enemies.
Yeah, it sounds like Pikmin.
yeah, it sounds like Pikmin. Or what's that other one? That Ghibli-inspired game that also had this. There's two of them. Ghibli. What's that game called? No, it was really popular.
I know what you mean. It's an RPG, and yeah, it's first one was released on the PS3, and now they've only just re-released it, sort of thing, for PC. Yeah, I know.
I can't think of it. Yeah, I know what it is. Someone's gonna remember that. But yeah, The Wild at Heart. It looks really pretty. It's got a great style. It is $24.99, but it is also published by Humble Games, so that's kind of what you get with Humble Games.
It's £19.49. It is standing at 100% positive with 24 user reviews.
So it's well liked and well received.
Yeah. That's a pretty good streak. That is a pretty good streak.
Oh, I know, Ni no Kuni.
Ni no Kuni, yes,
yeah,
Ni no
okay.
Kuni. That's what I was thinking of. Yep, yeah, I like Ni no Kuni. That's like the only kind of Pikmin-esque game that I've been so tempted to pick up. And I think it's mostly the whole Studio Ghibli thing. That's that makes me want it.
There's nothing wrong with Studio Ghibli.
Yeah.
No, true. Yeah, I am really curious about how this one plays. So I feel like I'd need to look it up a bit more, definitely, before I commit to it.
Yep. Up to Thursday, April 20th, we have SnOut.
Compete for the top score in this combination of two classic arcade games.
This to me, this is basically Snake meets Brick Break. I mean, don't get me wrong, Snake and Brick Break are great games, but I'm not quite sure what else it's got going for it other than that.
Yep, it is free. That's what it's got going for it.
Well, there's that. It
is free. I like that it's combining two really like proven and true game modes. I don't know. This looks like something that would be pretty fun to try to break just as many bricks as you can.
or see how far you can go before hitting your snake.
Yeah, it's like one of those things. It's like super. You can get like super into it, or it's super addictive, I think.
I like the screenshots where they have like high scores, so I wonder if these are the devs like high scores or something, and it just shows the snake just covering the whole screen. That's pretty cool.
But yeah, it's free and it's currently at 86% positive with 30 user reviews.
Yep. It is developed by this is a Dutch name. Aarjvark? Aarjvark, yeah. But yeah, it's developed by Aarjvark, and it looks quite fun. They also do support left-handed AZERTY users, and swaps WASD for QZSD. Okay, so for the European keyboard users. All right, SnOut by Aarjvark. Very cool. Okay, next up is, and yeah, it's 86% positive. Next up is Lacuna.
A murder, a hack, a bombing. All it takes to plunge the solar system into war, unless you do something about it. Help CDI agent Neil Conrad make a string of increasingly difficult decisions in this modern, dialogue-driven adventure set in a gorgeous 2D sci-fi noir universe.
This looks really fun.
It does. It reminds me of Dark Side Detective, but more on the serious note, rather than the lighthearted, funny story narrative.
The clock is
You know, it's a pixel art game. It's colorful pixel art this time. But yeah, it seems like it could be interesting. If you're into this type of thing, I am into this type of thing, so I will probably check it out.
Ooh, there's timers on the multiple choice.
Yep.
Multiple endings, fantastic.
Yep, which means it's got replay value, which is definitely a plus for most of us gamers. Yeah.
I need to ask you something.
And it's on sale.
Yeah.
It does say crossed out point and clicking is a platformer movement controls, so WASD and controller. Selecting all dialogue options one by one anyway. Nope, cross it out. Non-repeating conversations and choices. Inventory management and counterintuitive puzzles. Nope. Immersive story-driven mysteries. Pixel hunting. Nope. Optional outlines on anything interactable. Story can always be driven forward. It's crossed out. Grinds to a halt at every puzzle. X will remember this. Nope. Real choices and multiple endings.
Oh, so they're very much trying to like state that yes, we're slaying the holy cows. We're not going to do these things.
Yeah. So
and though it does have platformer controls, I was looking into it. There's not really platform in this game. It's just the control scheme.
I would say this perhaps plays more like Jenny LeClue than like a traditional point and click game. Definitely, because it's like you can clearly see the things that you can interact with and possibly pick up. But it says there's no inventory management, so it's interesting.
It's nice to see that the whole cyberpunk aesthetic's not going away either, and I like that this is like it's a whole like solar system that you're dealing with. That's just so cool. Like as someone who's always into like space development and like space colonization and all that. That's like, oh, that's a cool setting. It's like looking into a possible future.
Yeah, it's like the lore and everything of that is just it seems so great. I'm looking forward to playing this. I have put it on my wish list. It's been on my wish list for a while. It is 15% off right now at £10.53, and it's standing at 95% positive with 117 user reviews.
That's pretty good. All right, I'm not usually into this genre of games, but it's going on my wish list. Yeah, I imagine like I'm gonna play it through, and just all of my allies are gonna die horribly, and then I'm gonna be like, I have to play over, start over. Okay. Next up is Mind Scanners.
Oh yeah, it's true date. There's also a prologue out, so if you want the intro into it before you play it, definitely check that out.
Awesome. And of course, Mind Scanners.
Greetings. Your mind scanner request has been approved. Your duty is to diagnose and treat the citizens of the structure. The patient list is long, so don't waste your time. We'll let you see your daughter soon.
More papers, please.
Yeah. But yeah, more papers, please. But technology is taking over, and you have to accept it, whether you like it or not. So basically, you're tasked with forcing these people to accept what they don't want to accept, but at the same time, are you really doing that? Or are you going to break the system and free us from technology? And what will that cost?
oof. Yeah, there's some people that are, you've got to normalize them. It's like, oh.
Ooh, dystopian. Yep. It's
What is your definition of normal?
85%
Exactly.
positive with 107 user reviews. And yeah, I have to say I'm not a fan of the color scheme. Like, they are using color theory, but it's just like kind of it's like proper color theory but with lime green. That's like proper color theory and whatever the shade of pink is. Like, I don't like it. don't like the color theme.
I do like watching people play those kind of Papers, Please things. Although
so fun, especially when they really get into character.
Yeah, but myself, I'm like, no, I didn't want to do that option. Damn it, no! I always like feel like I mess up too much. So,
it's a regret simulator.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh my god. So yeah, they're very much a feel bad sort of gameplay for me. So I don't like playing them so much, but I love watching other people play them. But yeah, 10% off at £12.14.
Yeah, sure.
Nice. Yeah, that's $15.29 USD, 10% off right now. Next up is Of Bird and Cage, which I need to remove these spaces from Of Bird and Cage. There we go.
Okay. Of Bird and Cage is a unique metal album presented through a 2-hour long story-driven game. Play music in a band in a brand new way, featuring famous artists like Ron Bumblefoot, Val, X Guns N' Roses, Rob Van Der Loo, Epica, Rudd Jolie, Within Temptation, and many others.
All I've got to say is heck yeah! I'm big on a lot of these artists and ex-band members. The music is beautiful. I love the music. And the story for the music seems to be really telling. And I love... Back in the 80s, they did a lot of album-type movies. I don't know if y'all remember Pink Floyd The Wall, the movie. That was great. And this is kind of on that basis, only it's video games, so it's got some interactive to it. This is on the wish list for sure, and I'm just excited to hear the soundtrack and hear and listen to the story and just revel in it for a good 2 hours and just over and over and over again.
This is we've seen quite a few games recently that like have been promoting albums. Like we've had like maybe 3, so it's like it's fantastic that this is again heavily inspired by a metal album, and it's just like, yeah, we're gonna do like a story to it.
Yep. This is also this game also sort of lampoons Beauty and the Beast a bit, because it's just like, yeah, no, this is Beauty and the Beast is really a story about Stockholm syndrome if you look at it.
Yes.
If you take out the magic aspects of it, it's just like, yeah, that's a pretty strange story actually.
Yeah.
But even with the magic in
yeah,
it,
even with the
still
magic
strange.
in it, it's pretty like Stockholm syndrome-y. And that's one of the themes that plays heavily into Of Bird and Cage. So, yep.
But yeah, it's standing. It's 10% off right now at £10.25, and it's standing at 88% positive with 67 user reviews.
Very good. It is 10% off, $13.49 USD.
And if you want to just get the soundtrack, it's $8, which is usually cheaper than any of the albums you can get any other time.
Yep.
True.
The developer is Capricia Productions, and it's their first game. All right. At long last, finally, Rise of the Slime is releasing.
Be the hero that no one saw coming. Help Slime defy the odds by playing insanely powerful cards in this charming, relaxing, and strategic deck building adventure.
All those long words to write in a row. Yeah. It's so cute.
It is. It really is. This is actually one that I have been looking forward to. This is one of the very few games that I knew was coming out. And I haven't picked it up yet, but I am definitely planning on picking it up. And it's so adorable. And I'm big on anime, and one of my favorite series at the moment is Reincarnated as a Slime.
Yeah,
so
I'll admit to watching that show too. I'm still stuck in season 2 though.
Ooh.
I gotta finish.
Part two, second season's coming soon. So yeah, finish soon so that you can jump into that as soon as it comes out. But the whole slime building power, becoming overpowered, and saving everybody, I am totally behind that. And if I have a feeling if you are a fan of that anime or manga, you're gonna love this game. And if you like card strategic games, you're gonna like the game.
Slay the Spire, like me with, I finished Slay the Spire, and it's just like, ooh, yes.
What is finish Slay the Spire?
I mean, I still do. I still have it down. I still have it on my PC, so I still play it occasionally. But yeah,
I like how the slime looks like the slimes from Dragon Quest.
Yeah,
got a little crown on. It's like, oh, so cute.
It's really cute.
So this is going to be a great game. Slay the Spire, Monster Train, Hearthstone, and any of those games pique your interest, this is definitely a game for you. It's high on the positive. It's been looked forward to by other people that I know, and I have a feeling and the art style is just so cute.
There is a prologue as well, so if you want to try that, but otherwise it's £12.99. And it's standing at 78% positive with 60 user reviews.
Yep. It is developed by Bunkovsky and published by PlayStack. All right. Next up is Mayhem in Single Valley.
In this fast-paced, puzzle-loaded action-adventure, you'll juggle housework, zombie hordes, family dinners, and radioactive squirrels. Oh! And you have to prevent the end of the world while keeping everyone from finding out it was all your fault.
This is sort of a blending of voxel/pixel art sprites. And there are certain scenes where it works a lot more than in others. There were definitely some scenes where it's like, oh, that looks really nice. And then there's other scenes where it's like, that doesn't look very good. But overall, it does look just very fun. Very fun kind of rip-roaring adventure.
So, I loaded up the commercial for this, and I literally went, oh dear.
Yeah. Yeah.
It does look very interesting. Although I'm not sure it's the kind because it's a puzzle platform. It's not the kind of adventure game I'm usually into, but I love the fact that there's this story going on in it. It looks really interesting.
This is one of those games that I would watch just to see how many different death animations there are, because it looks like there's a lot of different ways to die.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It sort of reminds me of like in Project Gorgon, basically you get bonus experience for death each time you die in a different way. So every time you die in a different way in that game, whether it be hypothermia, poisoned by a spider, or you actually feel good about it because it's like, aha, I got that extra death XP, because death XP, of course, raises your hit points and also unlocks skills for Necromancer. But it's just like, in games like this where there's so many different ways to die, it almost becomes a game of like finding all the new death animations. Yep. Fluxcopic is the developer, and they are published by Tiny Build. So
Tiny Build's got a lot of good games on their list, so hopefully this is another one that's stays in the positives.
Yeah, it's 10% off right now at £10.25, and it's at 92% positive with 14 user reviews.
I like the top review. It is my favorite way to describe this as Stranger Things meets Zelda in 2021. So, but yeah, Mayhem in Single Valley. Next up is a old game that has been remastered, Samorost 1.
So, explore the beginnings of the Samorost series in the Space Gnomes original bite-sized adventure. Formerly released in 2003, now with remastered sounds, enhanced graphics, and new music by FlorX.
So, if you happen to play this game back in the day, it was a trip. And the fact that they've enhanced everything means it's going to be more of a trip. It is part of a series. It looks like they are re-releasing most, if not all, of the series. If you're into the whole weirdness, this is definitely a game for you. It's got a pretty good story. The puzzles are quite interactive and charming, and it's got an art style. It has an art style. Like I said, it's a trip.
So this developer, they did Machinarium, and it's like done at that point in time when point and click games are like, you know, had already like gone out of fashion, sort of thing, and they was like bringing it back, but by doing a sort of like a completely different thing, by not using sort of like text and just like doing sort of like more logic puzzles and stuff. So this is like the beginning of sort of like the revival of point and click games again, and they're fantastic. This developer is fantastic at this style of game. I've like have a few of their games actually, and yeah, I didn't play this one, but I'm probably gonna pick it up.
Amanita is quite famous and also really old. They've been doing a ton of games. Like recently, we talked about Creeks, but we also talked about Pilgrims. So yeah, and it's they've already released Samorost 2 and 3 on Steam, so I guess it was just a matter of time before they went like, yeah, we should get Samorost 1 on. So
oh no, it was already on. This is just like they've just remastered.
They revamped it.
Okay, that's that. I also am a big supporter of that. That's cool, making sure it gets all properly up to speed.
It looks prettier now.
Yeah. This is standing at overwhelmingly positive with 96%. It has 533 user reviews.
There were a lot of people looking forward to the re-release of this. You can tell with the reviews and the play and the play times and stuff like this.
Yeah, and it's free.
It
free.
It's so free. Go out and get it.
Yeah, they could have made money on it, and that's cool that they just made it free. So. Next up is Dr. Livingstone, I presume.
Load. A strange letter from a friend sowed seeds of uncertainty. Now you travel around the rooms of Livingstone's house to find out the truth. What happened after you left? Use logical thinking, puzzle-solving skills, and perceptiveness to delve into the house and unravel the mystery.
Oh, interesting. So this is like almost like an escape room, sort of.
Interesting.
I'm
curious if it's more sort of the controls is more like the room, or if it's like I'm going to be running away from something like in one of those first-person mystery horrors.
This reminds me more of the game, and I think Duey was. I think you were playing this a couple of months back, where you're a nephew and you're visiting your eccentric Uncle.
Oh, yeah.
This seems more like that type of game narrative.
Yeah. It is tagged
So
with relaxing, so I doubt there's going to be points where you're being chased.
Yeah.
Okay. It's good. There is a free demo, so I could definitely check it out and find out. I'm very curious about this because if it is maybe similar to the room, kind of like puzzler, I would love this. Absolutely love this.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a bit too much of a glow. That's my one criticism is there's just a little bit too much glow. But otherwise, it looks like it's a quite fun kind of game. It has an aesthetic sort of similar to like World of Warcraft almost. So, but yeah.
Don't tell me that. I'm not a fan of WoW. I want to like this game.
It's prettier than WoW, definitely. But yeah. All right. So yeah, that is Dr. Livingstone.
It's 10% off right now at £10.25. It's standing at 92% positive with 13 user reviews. Looking at the times, I'm seeing anything from like 3 to 6 hours. The person that's I'm looking at the one negative review. It says, "What a disappointment. I'm a big fan of puzzle ventures, but this is so poorly designed. It's amazing. I spent half an hour looking for some item in the kitchen, and even after having found all items, I still don't understand what's going on, what you're supposed to do, and I'm not a puzzle novice." So, interesting. It's I'm quite curious about that because there's some, maybe there are some like puzzle games and there's that one puzzle that absolutely stumps you and it's like, no, this wasn't intuitive, or this, this, that and the other. So yeah, I'm curious.
Yep. It is $13.49 USD, and it's developed by Vulpesoft, which also it's their first game. So, and of course it has a free demo, as mentioned before. Our final day, Friday, April 21st, is starting off with Heidelberg 1693.
Black magic in the age of pike and shot. Reload your musket after every blast in Heidelberg 1693. A challenging 2D action adventure set in a dark, twisted vision of Germany in the late 17th century.
So basically it's a zombie apocalypse, but in 1693 Germany. That's quite an interesting thing. It's got a very retro art style, very much like Castlevania, but I do like that there's sort of that added stressful mechanic of like, oh, I've gotta reload my musket every time I use it.
And for any weapon enthusiasts out there who has actually loaded a musket, it is not easy. It is not fast. It is aggravating, and I don't think it's a thing you have to worry about in this game. But if you load it wrong, you're done.
Yeah, it blows up in your face.
But it's an interesting concept. You're gonna definitely have to time your kills precisely, and you're going to want to learn to aim properly, because if you miss a shot, they're gonna keep walking while you're reloading.
Yep.
There are 20 breathtaking stages with different routes. I'm not such a big fan of the aesthetic, personally. I don't know. It's not. I don't know. Just something about it. It's not as crisp, I suppose. It's not as nice to look at.
Yeah, I think some of the effects aren't well. So they kind of mix between the pixel art and not pixel art, and I think that's partly what's jarring to a degree.
So I've got like the third video thrown up as it's playing through, and it said that they took the art style from Super Castlevania 4.
Right, okay.
And I can kind of see it, but at the same time, it's like, I mean, inspiration from that, sure. other than that, it's not the prettiest pixel.
Yeah,
Put it that way. I mean, we've had a lot of pixel art games this week, and there were a lot prettier pixel games than this one.
No, that's what disappoints me, because it's like with so many pixel indie games, and you see like some people that do it absolutely fantastically, and then you see this, it's like, couldn't you have done it better? It's like
just taking a little bit more time, just to make it look nicer.
Yeah. But it's at £11.39, and it currently has 7 user reviews, and that's full price, by the way.
Yep, $14.99 USD. And it's by Andrade Games, who also developed 1917 Alien Invasion. I'm seeing a theme here. Yeah, and Sturmfront, the Mutant War Opel Edition. So, yep. All right. Yeah, I'd watch someone play this as well, sincerely, Day. All right. Next up is Strategic Mind Fight for Freedom by Stami Games.
Strategic Mind Fight for Freedom is a history-driven turn-based strategy set in World War II. Take command of the Allied forces and protect your homeland from the whole of Europe from totalitarian madness. Form armies, win battles, change history.
All right. So this is on, besides like all the sort of cinematics, this is on it's basically a hex-based grid that the board is played on, and with turn-based tactics. Whenever
people do strategies from World War II, they always like kind of focus on like either like the European aspects of it, or more Russia. But there was like loads of other different skirmishes.
Yeah, there was the whole Pacific War, which was a pretty big theater, but it kind of gets ignored.
I wish that was more explored. All the different aspects of World War II. It's just I've seen the European fights and everything. Can you not? There's so much European-centric World War II strategy games. It's just like, come on guys.
Yeah, that is something I find very interesting, because in America, the Pacific War gets a lot of movie attention. Like, there's a lot of movies, but even when we do video games in America, we don't really talk about the Pacific. What typically happens for video games, if it's in the Pacific, it's going to be like the Vietnam War, or it's going to be it's just not going to. We're just not gonna. It's World War II is just heavily associated with Europe, and it's like, no, that's a fraction of where the war was fought. So, but it is I don't know. It's just more iconic in video games, and I blame Call of Duty. Medal of Honor, which is a great game, by the way, but I feel like that kind of like really solidified World War II, at least in the gaming circle around Europe.
Yeah.
So.
Well, this is $23.99, and it's standing at 92% positive with 14 user reviews.
Yep. I'm terrible at strategy games, but I know people who would like this. So just so you know, there's another World War II strategy game out there to check out, and it's by Stami. Stami has done. This is actually part of a series, so they've also done Strategic Mind, Spectre of Communism. So this one is more like you're fighting in the World War II period, but you're fighting more in Eastern Europe. You're leading the USSR, and then the Strategic Mind Blitzkrieg. So they have one where you're leading the German forces, and then they do have Strategic Mind where you are playing in the Pacific Theater. So you can play as either Japan or the US in that one. So they do have the Pacific Theater, but it's just one game, whereas like they have 3 games about Europe.
There is one negative review, and it says the voice acting is so bad.
Yeah. So the voice acting in English, they got the people who are like, yes, I have been trained in an American accent, and it's so bad. Like it's really obvious that they got some Serbian guy or something who's like, I am very good at faking an American accent, and it just comes off like. So yeah, the voice acting is bad. Just mute it. Just watch the subtitles. You'll probably have a more enjoyable experience. So, but yeah, by Stami Games. And that is all of our games of this week. So, what is the best of the week in your opinion for this week? Who's ready to go first?
I suppose I can go first. And honestly, it's a toss-up. I'll give my top 3. First and foremost is Rise of the Slime, because slime and card game cuteness save the world. Give it to me. I want it now. Next would be Of Bird and Cage, a music video, interactive music video. Yes. Good music. Yes. Metal. Yeah. And then my last one would probably be essays on empathy. I think it's like multiple mini games within one, and I think it's going to be a really interesting and really fun type game. Again, I'm not quite sure if that's one that I would want to stream, at least during the daytime. It does have some NSFW. And I mean, if nothing else, I'll stream it on Discord for a private watch party. But that would have to be my top 3 that I would be looking forward and being most likely to play.
All right, what about you, Rhodey?
Yeah, I think I have to go with like at least top 3, because I've put quite a few games on the list on my wish list. Added to my wish list. The first one, it's got to be Lacuna. Lacuna just looks fantastic game. It is that kind of adventure game that doesn't use inventory management, so that's like because I do like me some inventory management, but it looks super interesting. I'm super curious about the story, and there's multiple endings. So yeah, I'm sure the first ending I'm going to get is the super bad one.
Yeah,
it's always my
it's always the case. Yeah.
Well, at least if you get that one, you know what not to do next time.
It's true, but I always feel dejected because it's like, oh fuck's sake, I want to play through it again because I just want the super happy ending. I want the super happy ending. Because although I do like multiple endings, I do like to start off getting the happy endings. It's like, oh, it's all nice, and then it's like, are there going to be enough changes? Yeah. With the replaying through it, or is it going to be different enough to hold my interest, or am I just playing through the same sort of thing, but it's only just ever so slightly different?
You want to get the super happy ending first, and then in the next playthrough, you pick which characters you really didn't like, and it's like, all right, now I need to arrange so that the super happy ending only exists for the characters I want.
Yes. So the next, the one I would say number 2 is Dinner with an Owl. I am curious as like, why are you an owl? Why are you an owl? Yeah. It's like, you know, nice short little point and click game.
It's free.
Yeah, it's free. Super curious about it. Definitely on my wish list. And then The last game I would say is Dr. Livingstone, I presume.
Let's have dinner.
So yeah, that's just, it was, especially if it's like The Room kind of puzzle games, I'm super interested in.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, my picks, first of all, my picks have already been mentioned. So, except one. But yes, Lacuna, definitely my first one. Second would be Rise of the Slime. And third would be Rising Hell. If I can just get the search to work. Yes. All right. So my unique one that I'm really looking forward to is Toge Games Rising Hell. It's just, I've seen this game. It was super fun. There's been some reviewers I really trust that they're just like, this is so smoothly done. And that was back when it was still in early access. So I'm really interested to see what new content has been added, how much more storyline there is to complete, because there is like this sort of undercurrent story going on as well that you gradually uncover. But it is more just gameplay based than a lot of roguelikes that do have some story going on. But yeah, Rising Hell, definitely it's exactly my genre. So that's my game of the week. So with that, of course, chat, let us know what your favorite game of the week was. Those on YouTube, also just comment below. And before we say our farewells, just want to ask, Happy Kitty, what are you partly covered this, but what are your plans coming up? Where can people find you and follow you and such?
Well, you can follow me over on Twitch at twitch.tv/happy__kitty. Make sure you put in 2 underscores or you're not gonna find me. You can find me on Twitter. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. At kittycat851987. And you can hit me up on my Discord, which if you come to my channel on Twitch, it's one of the exclamation point Discords that you can join. Sometimes I stream there. We sometimes do movie nights. I really should arrange another movie night, but I need to decide what movies to watch first. As far as what I'm going to be playing, I just got off of work. I've got 3 whole months of nothing to do, so we'll be picking up with more story time. I've picked up some free games during that PlayStation 4 Play from Home. So I've got Subnautica, I've got Horizon Dawn, the complete edition. So we're going to have a lot of story time games. We're going to have a lot of chill, relaxing games, like such as Rise of the Slime type stuff, Come back, interact, chill, and hopefully we'll find a story that interests you.
Yep. I used to, when I was a private school teacher, that was something that I always loved, was like, summer. If anyone ever suggests the abolishment of like summer break, or, and they don't not replaces it with like 3 1-month long breaks or something. Oh, riot. Because it's the teachers who really love that 3-month break. It's like, it was just fantastic. Always great 3 months of my life. Anyhow, Rhodey, what about you? Update. Where can the internet find you? What are your plans?
So you can always find me here every week, but also you can find me at twitch.tv/RhodeyPie. And also don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and let us know what you think. The last episode, Mole said, always appreciate these. Too bad it does not get more attention. Thank you guys that do come on onto the YouTube channel, and maybe do some catch-ups on anything that you might miss. Don't forget to check our curator page, and which Duey has linked below.
Yep. And of course, you can find me here every week, Dewey Bear. And of course, you can follow the podcast Twitter at @podcaststeam. And of course, you're already on this channel and on YouTube at the Steam Release Podcast. So check us out. And like, subscribe, follow, and of course, let us know your thoughts down below. With that, Auf Wiedersehen, goodbye. Happy Sunday. Enjoy your weekend.